Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up on the March 16th edition of Carolina Week.
Recovery efforts continue in Japan. A UNC student who's there now gives us a first-hand account of the devastation.
Other UNC students spend their spring break rebuilding just 5 years after another terrible natural disaster.
In sports, the men's basketball team prepares for the big dance, while the baseball team picks up a big win at the Bosch.
Weathercaster Drew Day will tell us if we've seen the last of this cold weather, with the official beginning of spring less than a week away.
All that and eating healthy, eating local. Carolina Week starts right now.
From the James F. Goodman Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, connecting campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
Japan faces a monumental rebuilding effort following one of the worst earthquakes in history. Good evening, I'm Andrea Lutka.
And I'm Eddie Sykes. Thanks for joining us. Prime Minister Khan says following the earthquake, the tsunami, and concerns about damaged nuclear power plants, the nation faces its biggest challenge since World War II. The magnitude 9 earthquake hit Japan early Friday morning, and one UNC student experienced the disaster firsthand. Carolina Week's Carly Stevenson joins us live in the studio. Now, Carly, you actually had an opportunity to speak with that student this morning.
That's right, Eddie. UNC junior August Armbruster is studying abroad at Waseda University in Japan. And when the earthquake hit, he wasn't sure what was going on.
The whole house began to shake and wobble. It felt as if the floor was supported by jello. Very scary. You couldn't stand up.
Only 8 earthquakes have occurred worldwide in the past 100 years that have been greater than magnitude 8. Smaller earthquakes are common occurrences in Japan, and UNC geology professor Jonathan Lee says the country was adequately prepared for a natural disaster.
Buildings there are designed to withstand large events. Not quite this large, but definitely large events.
Hours after the earthquake, Armbruster saw the sky light up from a fire at the Cosmo Oil refinery.
A plant blew up. And so I was curious. So much had happened today. My emotions are running high. I'm feeling fear, excitement, panic, all that combined into one. And I really wanted to see for myself, so I grabbed my camera and headed out.
It just blew up. Woo! Woo! This is crazy.
5 days after the earthquake, it's not over.
So we're pretty much okay. Can you see the house shaking right now?
Yes.
It's an aftershock.
About half of the study abroad students at Waseda University have returned home.
No power, no food. It's kind of hard to finish your study abroad program.
With the increased threat of radiation from nuclear power plants and the lack of supplies, Armbruster hasn't decided whether to stay or return home.
I don't know. This is too much. This is a lot going on.
August is staying in Ichichara-shi for his spring break, and classes will resume in Tokyo on August 1st. Schools in California and Oregon have recalled students studying abroad in Japan.
It's really a terrifying story, Carly, but has UNC, like those schools in California, considered recalling students from the study abroad program because of everything happening in Japan?
The university hasn't made any plans yet to cancel UNC's study abroad program, but they've been sending daily emails updating students about possible evacuation plans for Americans.
Great. That's Carly Stevenson live in the studio this evening. Thanks so much, Carly.
And if you're planning to go to the moon this weekend, you could get there a little bit faster. What astronomers are calling a supermoon is going to be visible from Earth on Saturday. The full moon will pass 20,000 miles closer to Earth than usual. The closest a full moon has come in 18 years. There's been speculation about whether the coming supermoon was responsible for the devastating earthquake and tsunami that hit Japan last week, but scientists say it's very unlikely.
After centuries of legends, the search for a famous mythical city might finally be over. A U.S.-led research team might have finally located the lost city of Atlantis. It's believed the legendary metropolis was flooded thousands of years ago by a tsunami off the coast of southern Spain. Although it's hard to know with certainty that this actually is Atlantis, satellite images coupled with the twist of memorial cities found further inland replicating Atlantis makes the team to believe they've found the lost city.
2 bills that would give students a vote on the UNC System Board of Governors are in limbo in the State House and Senate. The Rules and Operations Committee has held onto the bill since February 23rd. Giving a vote to the ASU president would give a voice to the needs of the students he or she represents. If one of the two versions of the bill doesn't pass the House or the Senate by May 12th, then legislators can't reintroduce it until 2013.
It's certainly no surprise that the UNC campus continues to be a shining example of innovation. And the hot ticket in town Monday evening came in the form of the Innovate at Carolina Speaker Series. More than 200 people gathered in the FedEx Global Education Center to engage in conversation about the changing world of entrepreneurship and philanthropy. Chancellor Holden Thorpe moderated the event, featuring entrepreneurs Steve Case, the co-founder of America Online, and Dr. Desh Deshpande, the co-founder and chairman of Sycamore Networks. The speakers stressed execution on the journey to success.
Soon there will be a change in the way students communicate. Next month, UNC will start the switch from webmail to HealMail. HealMail is a Microsoft email service that the university will be getting for free. Students will get larger mail quota and a better web interface. Email addresses will change from email.unc.edu to live.unc.edu. UNC chose Microsoft service over Gmail because it just has better features.
Many college students look forward to spring break as their time to relax and have fun, but a group of UNC students decided to spend the week in service to others instead. Liz McLaughlin has more from the Big Easy.
I'm here in the lower 9th Ward where 100% of the area was uninhabitable after Hurricanes Katrina and Rita. Even 5 years after the disaster, the devastation is still apparent. We follow a group of students who are spending their spring break to help rebuild the area.
Well, it looks like we're having a few technical difficulties, but we'll do our best to get that story out to you as soon as possible. Their brains are smaller than pennies, Andrea.
But mice are crucial to understanding human disease. More about that next.
Healthy tomorrow begins with a solid foundation at home, and there are simple ways to start your kids on a path to success. Eat dinner together. Add veggies to each meal. Save treats for special occasions. And be sure to get up and play an hour each day. Help your kids make all of their dreams come true. Be our guest to healthy living today at letsmove.gov.
When you earn your GED diploma, the barriers in your life fall. Take the first step and get free GED information in your area at 1-877-38-YOUR-GED or yourged.org. Earn your GED diploma and begin your brighter future.
I'm home and I love it. I'm home where I belong.
It's always nice to come home, but many Americans are at risk of foreclosure and losing their homes. Making Home Affordable from the U.S. government has already helped over 1 million struggling homeowners like these. The sooner you act, the better chance we can help you.
I'm home where I belong.
UNC researchers are using mice to test the safety of synthetic blood and to discover a molecule that prevents brain cells from dying. But how similar can our bodies be to theirs? Stephanie Susura reports.
Studying mice can tell you a lot about humans. That's because mice and humans share more than 95% of their genetic codes. Graduate student Liz Buttermore uses mice to learn about brain disorders in humans.
We try to mimic the disease state in mice with the genetic manipulations, and then you can try to see what went wrong in those diseased, as if you will, mice.
Mouse studies are the building blocks of medical research, but it takes years of work to go from understanding a disease in a mouse brain to understanding the same disease in a human brain. Geneticist Oliver Smithies won a Nobel Prize for his work deleting or knocking out genes from mice. With genes knocked out, researchers can recreate human disease in mice.
They're genetically uniform, you can control their environment, and you can have many of them so that you can do a study that will look for differences that can't easily be seen by looking at, say, 3 or 4 people.
Many doctors, like Silva Markovic-Plesche, rely on mouse studies to guide their research with human subjects.
And then we try to, in a way, see whether that applies and how different it is in humans. And oftentimes there is a difference, but we definitely benefit from having mice studies and results that they can provide.
Even though Buttermore works with mice and Markovic-Plesche works with humans, their shared goal is to treat multiple sclerosis.
It's not a leap that a single lab can make. It's got to be a collaborative effort between labs all over the world.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Stephanie Soucheray, Carolina Week.
UNC researchers have used mice to identify a new risk factor for heart disease, but there's a lot of work left to do before they can translate that finding to people.
UNC is no stranger to national recognition, and now many of UNC's graduate schools are ranked among U.S. News and World Report's America's Best Graduate Schools. The medical school was ranked number 2 for primary care. Library and Information Sciences was tied at the top with the University of Illinois, and the schools of public health and pharmacy were also ranked at number 2. The nursing school, which has been in the news recently for having cut enrollment, was ranked number 4.
Apple's latest release of the iPad 2 brings users even more advanced applications. The app's FaceTime and Photo Booth allow you to take advantage of the new camera installed on the iPad. These apps allow you to video chat with fellow users or take and edit photos. Another app, iMovie, gives you the ability to edit videos you take using the iPad. And GarageBand 2 amps up the music quality compared to the first version of the iPad. Other apps that critics say show off the newest iPad features are Google Earth, Lego Harry Potter, and Infinity Blade.
Well, never mind their first words or learning how to walk, because now babies are crawling to the nearest computer and using the internet. Studies show that nearly 80% of children between the ages of 0 and 5 who use the internet do so on a weekly basis. But even with youngsters becoming more internet savvy, television still accounts for nearly 50% of media consumption by children. Not only that, but children are also learning how to multitask early. 36% of children between the age of 2 and 11 consume different forms of media simultaneously.
Technology continues to change the way we get our news. A study by the Pew Research Center revealed that for the first time ever, the internet has beat out newspapers as a news source for Americans. While television still remains the #1 news source for 50% of Americans, the internet now comes in second place, with newspapers falling to third. An increasing number of people also reported getting their news from mobile devices.
Well, Andrew, I really enjoyed the weather this weekend. This past week, I was back in the tropics down in Punta Cana, the Dominican Republic, and it's a lot colder here than it was there. It was kind of a shock.
I'll bet, definitely. Well, we have weathercaster Drew Day in the studio. Drew, is it going to be getting warmer for us here anytime soon?
Yeah, that's right, guys. Not to worry, Eddie. It will be getting warmer here. You won't need that jacket outside anymore. Warmer weather is on the way. I'll have full details coming up, so stay with us.
Creo que un compañero de clase de mi amigo tiene algo llamado autismo. El hijo del hermano de mi amigo tiene autismo. El hijo de mi vecino tiene autismo.
Mi hijo tiene autismo.
El autismo está cada vez más cerca de casa. Hoy, 1 de cada 110 niños es diagnosticado con autismo, un aumento del 600% en 20 años. Conoce las señales del autismo en autismspeaks.org.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 y 10. 10 deditos con ganas de bailar. El gordo es Pedrito y le dicen el pulgar.
Un momento cotidiano puede convertirse en un momento de enseñanza, porque el aprendizaje comienza mucho antes que la escuela. Dele a su hijo el comienzo necesario en bornlearning.org.
Welcome back to Carolina Week, everyone. I'm Drew Day. Thanks so much for staying with us. Let's go ahead and take a look at your weather headlines. We had some morning showers move through the area, but those are now gone, giving way to clearing skies. That means our next several days are going to be bright and sunny out there. And along with that sunshine will come warmer temperatures. We'll talk about all of that coming up. Taking a look at a few rainfall amounts, again, there were just some light sprinkles, so it really didn't accumulate to a whole lot out there. Only about over 1/10 of an inch here in Raleigh and lighter amounts farther south. Over at the coast, just over 1/3 of an inch at Hatteras and at Elizabeth City. They had almost an inch there, and even farther out to the west near Asheville, they had just over 2/3 of an inch. So most of the rain was off to the west and at the coast, but here in central North Carolina, it really didn't amount to a whole lot. Taking a look at the satellite imagery right now, this is an image from earlier this morning. Along with those showers, we had thick cloud cover across the area, but as we put this into motion, you can see that the clouds are now moving off the offshore, and so that is giving way to cloudy or sunny skies across the area, and that sunshine will definitely be warming us up. Taking a look at the surface map right now, this is currently what's going on with our weather. We have this high pressure system sitting off to our south and west, but starting tomorrow and in the coming days, it will move a little bit farther eastward to where it's more directly south of us, and that will be the same for Friday as well. And so what this means for us is that we'll be seeing warmer temperatures and also be seeing sunny skies, because the clockwise rotation around a high pressure system means our dominant wind direction for the next several days will be from the south and southwest. So not only will warmer temperatures from the southwest be moving into our area, but also what happens is when we get a westerly wind, that wind goes up and over the mountains, and then once it moves back into the Piedmont, that air starts to sink, and when air sinks, it warms. And so this is why for the next several days, we really anticipate that we'll really be warming up into the 70s and 80s across the area. So taking a look at your forecast for tonight, it'll be clear across the area, and will continue to clear as those clouds move out. Light winds overnight tonight, a low right around 48. And then for tomorrow, we expect a high right around 70 degrees with sunny skies. The winds picking up just a little bit, but remaining light at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And breaking tomorrow down just a little bit more as you're heading off to work or school tomorrow morning by 8 a.m., 42 degrees. And again, will be sunny and clear throughout the entire day, 59 by lunchtime, and will continue to remain warm into the evening with 60 degrees by 8 p.m. And so as we take a look at the 5-day forecast here, you can see that we'll really be warming up as we head into the weekend. 82 there for Friday, 78 for Saturday. We'll cool down just a little bit on Sunday with 66, but then we warm back up again on Monday with 74. And you can also take a look at those overnight lows. They're in the lower 40s, so you're definitely going to need a jacket in the morning, but once you head into the afternoon, it'll be sunny and warm, and you won't need it anymore.
Right. Drew, I mean, a lot of us probably went to the beach for spring break, but it wasn't as warm as we expected. For our viewers and us, next week, is it going to be any better?
Yeah, next week we anticipate this warmth to continue, so we all wish that spring break was this week instead of last week.
Glad to hear that.
Drew, thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome.
And as promised, we will get you back to that story. Our Liz McLaughlin had a chance to follow a group of UNC students who took an alternative spring break in service to others.
New Orleans gets much of its identity from Mardi Gras. A group from UNC traveled to the city during the festival, not to party, but to volunteer.
The way it works is homeowners come to us looking for help with their rebuilds, and we provide them with free labor.
The group worked on houses with an organization called Lower 9. They provide an essential workforce for residents still trying to reconstruct their lives after Hurricane Katrina. 13 students traveled from UNC to Louisiana to work on houses like this one to help revitalize and rebuild the historic Lower 9th Ward. Students divided up into groups and went to work for 8 hours a day to help homeowners. The house these UNC students are working on belongs to Shelby Wilson. Her life took a heartbreaking blow from the storm in 2005.
I've had this house for about 15 years. At least 15 years, and after the storm, I was out of it. It was uninhabitable for 4 years.
Lower 9 has helped to rebuild the community, literally through volunteer labor, but also by providing skills training to residents, pursuing health initiatives, and even starting a community garden. Shelby Wilson said that there would be no hope of recovery without the help of organizations like Lower 9.
Without the help of the volunteers, I wouldn't be able to get this work done on the outside, on the exterior. So I'm really, really grateful for the help.
The students were in the city for 7 days working to rebuild houses. Anyone wishing to volunteer can participate. The students who are in Louisiana right now came on their own accord, and students are welcome to contact Lower 9 to help arrange another volunteer trip. You can find out more information about that organization and more at www.carolinaweek.org. In New Orleans, I'm Liz McLaughlin, Carolina Week.
On our website, we've also posted a list of Apple Service Learning projects that you can participate in. Well, have you filled out your NCAA tournament bracket yet? And what chances do you think you have of predicting every matchup correctly? Well, as it turns out, there are, get this, more than 147 quintillion different ways to fill out this year's bracket, making the chances of perfection infinitely slim. There's never been a perfect bracket, but that won't stop people from trying. Popular sports websites such as ESPN.com and CBSSports.com will accept thousands of brackets this week from users around the world. Some of these sites award cash prizes, including Yahoo.com, which will award $1 million to anyone who can fill out a flawless bracket.
And let's take it over to Justin Page live in the studio with us. I gotta confess, guys, I have not filled out my bracket.
I haven't gotten quite there yet, but I'm hoping to do it this week.
No, absolutely. You're definitely running out of time. Full action kicks off tomorrow. Women's tournament gets started next week as well. Both Carolina teams, unlike last year, are in the field this year. Should be exciting. Coming up after the break, we'll preview Carolina's roads to both Houston and Indianapolis.
Guys, we gotta be smarter about what we bite on, okay? I want everyone to go outside. We're gonna run Red Rover on 3.
What about you, Tony?
I'm gonna run around in circles, flap my arms, and make engine noises like this.
When it comes to playing, we kids are the pros.
We're eating right, too. We fuel up
to play 60.
If your school doesn't have a program, be a leader. Start one.
Click today and join the movement.
¿Sabes que hay una manera correcta de estornudar?
Vamos a mostrarles, Elmo.
Ajá, sí, pica tu nariz y sientes un achú. Ahora vas a ver, esto haces tú.
Alza tu brazo y tu cara cubrirás.
Ahí donde lo doblas estornudarás.
¡Achú! ¡Achú!
Si el achú se acerca.
¡Achú! ¡Achú!
Así es correcto estornudar.
Gracias.
Para obtener más información sobre cómo prevenir la gripe, visite flu.gov.
Hello and welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Justin Page. Some people call it the best time of the year. And for UNC fans, March Madness will be even better this season. After going to the NIT last year, the Tar Heels make their return to the big dance. But this year, the team says just making the tournament won't be enough. What a difference a week makes. After ending the season with an ACC regular season championship, Carolina struggled at the conference tournament in Greensboro, leaving the team concerned with turnovers and poor shooting. Freshman point guard Kendall Marshall played his worst stretch of the season and says the team can't afford inconsistency in the big dance.
And as a team, I don't think that we competed 40 minutes for 3 games straight. There were times where we showed what kind of team we could be, but we didn't come out here and play the way we wanted to at all.
But in light of their strong play the past couple of months, the Heels aren't discouraged. Junior Tyler Zeller has seen almost everything during his time at Carolina and sees a potential silver lining to the team's tough weekend.
I mean, it's one of those things, if you can learn from this, we can become a better team, but if we don't, it's kind of just a loss.
And the Heels know their next loss will end their season. The team makes its return to the NCAA tournament as a top 10 team, but one with little tournament experience. However, the Heels have the talent that could make up for it. Freshman Harrison Barnes has become one of the top players in the country, and his play will go a long way in determining how far the team advances. And the freshman says he knows that now's the time to shine.
NCAA is what our season's going to be defined over. You know, we've come a long way, made some great strides, but, you know, we have the opportunity to be a team that just made it to the first round or, you know, a team that goes to the Final Four. So it's a lot of stakes, so we just have to come focused.
And they're definitely going to need their focus. There you see the bracket. UNC is the number 2 seed in the East region, and the Heels will play their first 2 games in Charlotte. They take on Long Island on Friday night at 7:15, and with a win will face either Washington or Georgia on Sunday. But when you take a look at UNC's potential Sweet 16 opponents, the competition gets a little tougher, including a possible matchup with number 3 seed Syracuse. And staying with basketball, the women are getting ready for their own NCAA tournament and playing their first game this Saturday in Albuquerque. The Heels grabbed the number 5 seed in the Spokane region and will take on the number 12 seed Fresno State. Carolina finished its season with a 26-8 record, and if UNC gets the victory, they'll face either Kentucky or Hampton in the second round. Switching gears, the Carolina baseball team came home Tuesday looking to rebound after losing its first ACC series of the season at Wake Forest during the weekend. There's UNC coach Mike Fox breaking down the huddle and leading the team out onto the field to take on Princeton. And UNC pitcher Cody Stiles, check him out right here. He was feeling it, rings up one of his 7 strikeouts here in the second, but the Tigers would hang around until the 8th. That's when Colin Moran ripped this 2 RBI double over the first base bag to help spark a 9-run inning. Heels take the win 11-2. Meanwhile, UNC football is gearing back up as the team hit the turf for its first spring practice this afternoon. After the departure of TJ Yates, UNC is looking for a new starting quarterback. There you see sophomore Bryn Renner. He's the front runner, but junior Braden Hansen is also a potential candidate. However, all eyes are on top recruit freshman Marquise Williams from Charlotte. And there you see Charles Brown. He's back, though he'll miss the first game against James Madison because of the continuing NCAA sanctions. And along with Ryan Houston, running back Giovanni Bernard makes his return. He missed all of last season because of an ACL injury. And the Heels look forward to the return of a defensive lineman as well. Defensive tackle Brandon Willis returns to UNC after transferring to UCLA at the beginning of the 2010 season. However, prized defensive line recruit Delvon Simmons won't be joining the Heels this season. He is asked to be released from his commitment. He hasn't said why, but nonetheless, an exciting time on UNC's campus. Football spring practice underway, and NCAA tournament, of course, all eyes on the brackets starting tomorrow.
So ready for the tournament. Thanks, Justin.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Thanks, Justin. Well, there are lots of places to eat on campus, and some are healthier options than others.
We'll show you our expanding healthy menu options coming up.
If you have a story idea, call Carolina Week at 919-843-8292 or email us at carolinaweek@unc.edu. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNC-CH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina 27599. Be sure to check out Carolina Week and Carolina Connection online at carolinaweek.org.
UNC is always striving to be ahead of the curve when it comes to campus sustainability.
Katie Contis has more about the effort, Eat Healthy, and Eating Local.
Senior Tori Beek eats at 150 and Lenore Dining Hall about 4 times a week.
They typically have very healthy options like grass-fed organic beef, like Sloppy Joe's and things like that. So it's pretty nice to have an alternative that's not quite as processed.
Carolina Dining Services opened 150 last year. It's the sustainable restaurant located right next to Chick-fil-A.
150 has recently expanded. Pre-wrapped to-go food from 150 is now sold here at the Beach Dining location on the first floor in the Brink House Bullet building near the hospital.
All of the food from 150 uses ingredients that were grown or produced within a 150-mile radius of UNC's campus. Executive dining chef at Carolina Dining Services, Paul Calise, says there are lots of benefits from eating local food.
From a health standpoint, you're getting food that isn't processed. You're getting pretty much farm to table.
Currently, Carolina Dining Services sources from more than 50 local producers. But 150 isn't the only place on campus you can find local food. Carolina Dining Services offers green-themed dinners in both residential dining halls twice a month. More than 21% of food served on campus during the 2009-2010 school year came from local farms. Dining Services hopes to increase the amount of local food served on campus by about 5% each year. In Chapel Hill, I'm Katie Connis, Carolina Week.
You know, Eddie, I'm really impressed with the number of healthy options we have here on campus.
I know, and honestly, I've done a pretty poor job during my time here seeking out those healthy alternatives, but it looks like with so many different options cropping up everywhere, it might be a little bit easier for me to find a healthy meal.
Definitely got to stay away from those bad options a little bit. Get into the healthy stuff a little bit more.
Well, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for watching. Have a good night.